Foster here for the Field of 60. Today, we are bringing you another episode in our Off the Carousel series, where we will be joined by each and every new head coach to the Division I ranks. There are almost 60 of them. We're going to be rolling these out a couple of days throughout the month of May and the month of June. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And if you like this interview, don't be afraid to tap that like button. That stuff really does help our channel and help our presence on YouTube. It helps more people like you find this content. And since I have you guys here, make sure that you check out our Instagram and TikTok pages. We are going to be pumping out more unique content over there throughout the summer heading into next season. Like, for example, did you know that Penny Hardaway was shot when he was a player in college? I bet you didn't know that. There are more stories like that on those pages. The links are in the description below. So now, without further ado, let's get into another edition of Off the Carousel.
Welcome to the Field of 68 special series, Off the Carousel. I'm Jeff Goodman of Stadium and joined by new Georgia head coach Mike White. It still sounds a little weird, Mike. I got to say, have you gotten used to it by now?
No. Right when you said it, just then, it sounded a little bit weird. But we better get used to it, right?
Listen, you had a hell of a run at Florida. We talked throughout many a time, and it is not easy to replace a legend named Billy Donovan. Let's be honest. It is not easy. You went to an Elite Eight. You went to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. Give me kind of the process in your, mental state as you were going through the decision to leave Gainesville and go to Athens.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate it, Jeff. We had a good thing going. I mean, we had, we include the COVID year because we were solidly in, and I'm in recruiting mode as we still have a couple scholarships available. So, if you let us tell it, we went to 5 straight NCAA tournaments, and if it weren't for Texas A&M beating us in overtime at the buzzer in the SEC tournament this year, it potentially could have been 6. It's a long run, in today's day and age, and with the landscape of college basketball. In every one of those tournaments, we advanced. Did go to the Elite Eight, did some damage in our league, which the SEC's turned into arguably the best league, in our opinion. I'm selling again. In the country in college basketball, we're at an all-time high with a roster of incredible coaches. Recruiting's at an all-time high, the talent level, so on and so forth. But that said, Jeff, I think you'd agree in all of the circles that you and I are intermingled with, for 20 plus years in the college basketball media and coaching circles. Georgia has always been one of those, man, that's a really good one that hadn't really gotten going to the level potentially, other than some pockets that it will get going to at one day. At some point, Georgia's going to get going to a whole nother level. There's just too much potential here. We hope to be the staff that gets that done. And I have a ton of respect for all of the coaches that have been here. Coach Crean had some pockets, obviously had a very good year too. And Anthony Edwards was incredible. Coach Fox was a really good coach, obviously, and still continues to be a really good coach out west, and did some damage as well. Tubby Smith had a really good run and took off to Kentucky, of course. But this is a wonderful job. It had nothing to do with the previous place and everything to do with Athens, with this athletic department, with the promise, the potential of this place, and the hope of what we could help this place become.
A lot of players in Georgia. And that started, I remember when you and I were coming up, that's kind of when it started to blow up in Georgia, and a lot of programs would come into Georgia to go get players. It became kind of a basketball state a little bit. You still feel that way as far as there's so much talent in the state that if you kind of protect your home state for the most part, that you'll be able to kind of take it to a different level?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely, Jeff. I mean, the talent per capita in this state is as high as any state in the country, period. And we're leaving a state, of course, the state of Florida's just incredibly lucrative in that respect. Texas, New York, out west in California. There's a bunch of states that have got a ton of players, none more so than the state of Georgia. And to complement that, I think you've got some of the best high school coaches and high school programs in the country, some of the best AAU coaches and AAU programs in the country. And it's not about, the people talk about fences and we got to keep these guys. It's about getting the right guy. There's too many guys in this state. There's too many players in the city of Atlanta. And there's so many people that I've learned in a short time that really want to help the University of Georgia, that are from Atlanta, that are in this state, that want to see their guys, whether it's their nephew or their son or the kid that plays for them in high school or AAU, that wouldn't mind seeing them play and put on a Bulldog jersey, be right down the street, 45 minutes from Atlanta, in Athens, in a great college town. We've just got to get the right guys.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So March 13th, it surprised the hell out of me. It really did. And not much surprises me anymore. Okay. Usually I know it's coming.
Got him.
That when I heard rumblings, I think that morning, but it wasn't like you heard about it, March 11th, 12th, and then it was done. It was done quickly. Give me a peek behind the curtain, if you can, of how it went down on the 13th.
It was the 13th of Sunday. I don't know. Because it happened in one day on a Sunday.
Yeah, I think it was
Sunday. Selection Sunday.
Yes.
So I woke up that morning thinking about where we were going to be in the NIT, assuming we were going to get a home game, which Florida ended up getting, of course. Still, obviously, really disappointed, that we didn't advance in the SEC tournament. Really tough day. And it went really quick. About noon that day, got a phone call that Georgia wanted to have a conversation. I didn't want to have a conversation. Obviously, I was at a spot that we were very comfortable being. Wife and kids happy, and you know how it is. And but when it gets to, hey, they want you. They want you. They want to swing at you. They want to have a conversation. At that point, I was very close with Scott Strickland, the athletic director of Florida. I've already become very close with Josh Brooks, the athletic director here at Georgia. There was some conversation there that we were going to have some conversation, myself and Josh, and got Scott's okay, and had a Zoom and jumped on the opportunity. It was that quick.
Really?
Had to get the blessing from the person in charge of the household, Miss Kira. And here we are in Athens.
Did you call your dad? I mean, the family is on the other side of all this. Your whole family. You're the only coach. Everybody else is AD, former AD. Did you call any of your brothers, your dad, anybody, or was it just you and your wife making the decision? And the kids. How much did the kids have a say in this thing?
They didn't, unfortunately.
They never do.
I'll be hearing about that one, especially around Christmas time and on vacations. Hey, Daddy, can we get some ice cream? Remember, you didn't tell us about Georgia.
That's right.
But they're so excited. My three boys, they've traded in the blue and orange for the black and red, but they'll always have such fond memories and close friends, and Kira and I will as well. It's part of this business. It's what it is, right? But yeah, throughout that day, had conversations with those three who I lean on heavily: Danny, Brian, and my father, Kevin, of course. Yep, very quickly. Again, it happened in a hurry.
So they call you at noon.
I don't know the time. It was, whether it was 11:30, 1 o'clock, I can't remember, but it
start to finish.
It all happened within 2, 3, 4 hours for sure.
Crazy how quickly some of these happen now.
Yep.
A lot quicker than probably it happened with you when you took the job at Florida or Louisiana Tech. No?
Yeah, happened quicker for sure.
Yep.
And I'm still disappointed. I know you've been disappointed after some of our tough losses. I'm disappointed that you didn't have that one.
I did not. I really did not. Again, it's Selection Sunday. I'm thinking nobody in their right mind is going to hire anybody. And obviously, I don't think they wanted it out there, probably on Selection Sunday. But that's how these things go. So They go quick. And it's hard to keep anything a secret for too long, as you know.
Yeah.
I guess, what did you learn? What's the biggest thing that you learned at Florida in your time there that you will take to Georgia?
Boy, that's a tough question, Jeff. Biggest thing I learned, Mac, my goodness, there's just so many things. There's so many things I've learned here in I don't even know how long it's been. It's been a whirlwind, 7 weeks or what have you. But I've always been a big proponent as a head coach about growth daily. It's our daily goal in our program in the past and our program here. We're going to grow. We're going to learn every day. If we're not, we're wasting time. And, on a daily basis, you're learning about recruiting, whether it's scouting, hiring, staff relationships, ability to connect young men together. I mean, I can't just say that there's one thing. If you really put me on the spot, I would say how good our league is now, how good the SEC is now, how much it's grown, what the SEC network has done to our league. And heck, right now we're dealing with NIL, we're dealing with the changing of the landscape of this whole thing, right? With the portal and NIL. So, I mean, those things probably overshadow anything I learned overall these past 7 years.
No, it's crazy now. I mean, it's crazy now how much has changed so quickly. And for you, new job, right? Yeah. Trying to move your family now. Now you lost, I think, 8 guys in the portal. I think you kept one of them. And you picked up, I think you picked up 7 in the portal and maybe 1 top 100 high school kid, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, it's been didn't you guys get 3 guys in one day or something?
Yeah. That rings a bell. That rings a bell.
3 guys in one day commitments. I mean, I don't know if I've ever heard of that before. What's it been like, the whirlwind of, again, the personal life?
Yeah.
And just having you never would have had to do this years ago, but now with the portal,
sure,
it's just a complete reset.
And I think it makes situations like this more attractive potentially to the next guy, where, 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, it was, boy, that might take a little bit of time, to put your own stamp on things. Fortunately for us, we were able to put our stamp on this roster and the direction that we're headed very quickly. We lost some good young men, some high character guys, and we wish those guys all the best. Of course, we'll be rooting for them like crazy, but at the same time, we were able to bring in some guys that we feel really strong about. I think we've got an underrated portal class. I could get into each one of them individually, but I'll spare your time there. But and also, a very good high school player in Kyron Lindsay, from Dallas. So we got an ability to kind of speed up the process here. If in fact they are the right guys, I feel like we are, but we've got to get to work offensively and defensively. We've got to install this summer. We've got to get a lot done. How's it been overall? It has been an absolute whirlwind from that aspect. With roster, we've got games to schedule. We've got people to meet, relationship building in this community, amongst our donor base, amongst our fan base, within this administration. And then personally, it's been taxing. It is for all of us in this business as we're traveling, right? And right now I'm commuting. I'm doing a lot of driving between Athens and Gainesville, and a lot of
How far is that, Mike? How far a drive is it?
It's supposed to be 5.5 on Google Maps. I can knock out on 4:45.
Love it.
You got to be the aggressor, You got to
no tickets? No tickets yet.
Not yet. I anticipate at least one coming. But yeah, we've made that commute a bunch. Until school gets out, we can't move them up. I'm very, very close. We've got some little ones. And, hard time, but we'll get adjusted here. At some point soon, we'll have some normalcy.
In terms of, again, the ability to kind of flip the roster as quick as you could, are the expectations different? Do you have a feel? I know you said we think we did well in the portal.
Sure.
I think everybody feels that way when they go portaling, right? They
sure.
hope, they think, they pray that they did well in the portal, but sometimes you don't really know what you got. Now, the one advantage you probably have is you probably recruited some of these kids in Florida because it's similar levels, similar regions. How much of an advantage is that for you?
Somewhat of an advantage. Yeah, there's some familiarity for sure. Really, regardless of where I am now compared to where I was and my staff was a couple months ago, we're all surveying at 365 now, right? We all have a pre-portal. We all have who may jump in, who may not. We're all studying box scores, and you're keeping your ear close, right, to what's going on. I feel like we did a very good job in the portal, but that said, again, we've talked about the SEC. I'm sure every single team in our league did a great job in the portal. And in Power 5 basketball, there's a ton of teams, I'm sure, that did a great job in the portal. So we've got our hands full. I mean, we do in this league, with a rebuild, of course, coming off a tough year, a lot of stuff, especially defensively, we've got to improve upon, but it's a completely different roster also. So who knows where we'll find the most difficulties, where we'll find the most positives as quickly as possible, of course. But it also starts outside of the portal with, we've got 4 returners. They're pretty good players, so we're appreciative to have inherited, some guys that really did a good job for Georgia last year.
All right. Well, listen, Mike White, new Georgia head coach, Off the Carousel here on Field of 68. We appreciate it, and good luck this season.
Thanks so much, Jeff. Thanks for having me. Go Dogs.